Welcome to the WCIA 3-in-1 podcast After Dark. We're calling it Duked Out tonight as Illinois goes on the road and beats number 10 Duke 83-68. Bret Beherns alongside Marlee Wierda, who's in our podcast studio. And Marlee, this was the win I think so much of Illini Nation was hoping for tonight.
Yeah, they were hoping it. There was so much hype surrounding this game, yet I don't feel like it lived up to my expectations. Maybe it's because Duke didn't score a point. It didn't feel like they were playing like Duke basketball. But, you know, a great win for Illinois. I know this means so much for the program, for Brad Underwood, and just for them to prove that, you know, hey, they could take down this team on this big stage.
And I think we need to give credit to Illinois' defense for coming out and smacking Duke around a little bit on its home court. But it was not what we think of Duke basketball being. Like you mentioned, you know, there's all these elite players that have come out of the Blue Devils program and Coach K and the history, and there was no fans at Cameron Indoor. It was just a weird environment, just a weird kind of game in a lot of sense. Even for Illini fans I know who were kind of anticipating that big Duke run, and they did cut it to 10 late, but Illinois managed to hang on, and what a statement win for the number 6 Illini to go into Durham, North Carolina and get a win. And ironically enough, Marlee, they've been to Cameron Indoor twice, and they've left Cameron Indoor twice. The only non-ACC team to go in under Coach K in 41 years and pick up 2 wins. Pretty remarkable stuff for the Illini. We're going to break this all down coming up here in the next few minutes on the After Dark version. We did this last week with Andy after the Baylor win. Glad to have Marlee here on the podcast. And Marlee, let's start with this. Your big takeaway from this game is what?
For me, it was just the balance in the offense. I know we were talking about it during the game, and we're like, wow, you know, Iowa has 15 points already, but it doesn't really feel like it at all. And I think it's because they did such a great job of spreading the ball out. They had, I'm going to count here, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players in double figures tonight, and I think that's just really important going forward for this program, because you don't want to have to rely on Io to score 20 points every night. You don't want to have to rely on Adam Miller to score 20 points every night, and it's great to see them spreading it around and giving it to guys like Georgi Bezhanishvili. This is his second game in a row when he scored in double figures, and his second in a row against a top 10 opponent. So I think this speaks tremendously about where this program is heading and what this offense can become.
I think my big takeaway, Marlee, was that Illinois came out prepared and that they learned from that Baylor loss last Wednesday. And as Brad Underwood said after the game, we'll hear from him in just a couple of moments, that they took the scout team and they put it to good use, that they prepared well, that they used the extra days they had after not playing the UT Martin game, and they came out and looked like a number 6 team in the country should look like. And that is a big-time win, now the 4th top 10 victory for Illinois head coach Brad Underwood. And when you get out to a 10-point lead early, it seems like, you know, the rest of the game is pretty easy.
Right.
And along with that, yes, they were prepared, but they also withstood some late runs from the Blue Devils. And like I said at the beginning, I think we have to give a lot of credit to Illinois' defense for coming out and putting pressure on Duke. But the Blue Devils couldn't hit shots tonight. I mean, to go 0 for 12 from 3 to start out the game. They didn't make their first 3 until 12 minutes left in the game. I mean, it was pretty remarkable that on its home court, Duke could not make a shot tonight.
I loved the little, like, mics that they had at the rim, and you could just hear, like, the little boink when they missed a shot. Unbelievable. Right. How many times we heard that sound today, but...
Yeah, so, you know, you couldn't have scripted a better start for Illinois to come out in this game and play so well. And like you mentioned, Marlee, to be that balanced is really impressive to me. That Ayo Dosunmu goes for 18 and 12, just his 3rd career double-double, throws in 5 assists as well. You know, when you have Kofi putting up 13 and 8, when you have a Georgi Bezhanishvili giving you 11 and 5, Andre Curbelo, a big surprise, and I know fans are going to be a little frustrated with his 5 turnovers, but that's what he's going to give you. He's going to be frustrating in a sense because he is a freshman, but he shows you that flash and splitting 2 defenders at half court and doing the things that he's able to do around the rim and getting to the basket and not being afraid. And that's what gives you so much promise and hope of what Andre Curbelo will be in the future and already is right now. Brad already called him elite, and while Underwood likes to call a lot of things elite, a lot of teams,
Yeah.
a lot of players. That's kind of his thing that he likes to label guys and teams. I feel like he is buying into what Andre Curbelo can bring, and this team is better with Andre Curbelo on the court. And when you throw in DeMonte Williams and Trent Frazier each adding 10 points, man, that is a recipe for success for this team to have a lot of success this year. And here's Bret Underwood talking about winning at Duke, certainly something that means a lot to a lot of players and a lot of coaches, and add Bret Underwood to that list as well.
I mean, let's be real. It is Duke and it is Cameron Indoor, and I get it. The fans, weren't here, but it's still Duke. And yeah, I hope that maturity and growth and experience helped as part of that. I thought late, Io was in complete control of the game from his end, and that's nice. And you see the difference between a freshman, and I love Curbelo. He kind of lost his way there and lost score and time, and yet Io just settles everything down. So there's a lot of value in experience.
And I think Brad summed that up pretty well there, Marlee, where you kind of lose Curbelo a little bit, but the upside of what he gives you is so promising.
Yeah, and with Curbelo, he said he was really good, but he was really sloppy. So it's kind of like these two in between. It's like, he's going to be flashy. He's going to have that little bit of spice. And sometimes it's going to result in a turnover. But at the end of the day, he's still a talented player. I think he's kind of the new Illini fan favorite just from what I've seen on Twitter and all that. But I want to go back to this example that was kind of used throughout the press conference, and that we saw happen in the game was that dive for the loose ball that we saw Adam Miller do. And at the beginning of the season, Bret Underwood had pointed out that, we didn't have these freshmen diving for loose balls at the beginning of the season, and now here they are against a top 10 team doing so. And I think that goes to show the leadership of this program with, Io DeSumo just leading by example, the other veterans on the team doing the same, and kind of showing these freshmen the way and the culture of this team that we're just kind of starting to see built here with some of these new guys coming in.
And I think that's the exciting part, Marlee, is that they do have a nice mix of both youth and experience. And when you have a leader like Io DeSumo, it gives you so much hope that this team can come out and be successful in big-time games like this, because it's the old saying, don't get too high, don't get too low. You just kind of ride that middle ground. And for a while there, Marlee, I didn't feel like Io was really this flashy player like we've seen him do. We've seen him completely take over games in the past, and he's proven that he can do that. But if Illinois can balance things out like this, and he doesn't have to go out and put up 28 points for Illinois to win or make a last-second shot, you feel so much better about what this team can become. And he was efficient, 6 for 11 from the floor tonight, missed both of his threes, but 6 for 6 from the line. And the 12 rebounds is something that really shows me that he is active and he is a leader. If you're a lead guard or a combo guard like he is, and you're on the glass and getting those rebounds, that means you are certainly active, throwing those 5 assists and only 3 turnovers, a block and a steal as well. And that's a complete game from a preseason All-American pick. And if there's one thing Io has been, it's confident. And I don't mind that from your lead guard. And here was Io talking about his performance tonight and how he feels really strong about what he's doing.
Be an all-around player. Like I said, I do believe that I'm the most complete player in the game. I just try to, let that just speak for itself. Score and I have to score, pass and I have to pass, rebound and I have to rebound. That's just the mentality that I have, just being a complete player.
I don't know how you sum it up much better than that, Marlee. Do you like that confidence?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's not many players that can just come out and be like, yeah, I'm a complete player. I'm the best player in the league. Some would say it's cocky, but I do see it as confidence. And he's kind of like, I feel this season he's almost just like the thief in the night, like he puts up all these points. He has this performance that kind of goes unnoticed, but I think that goes to show that like this is becoming so characteristic of him that it's just not a surprise. It's like, okay, here goes Io doing what he's doing, becoming consistent or being consistent, and just doing what he's supposed to do and help this team to big wins like this one.
He's a closer. He calls himself a killer. You know, just that mentality that when the game is on the line,
or whatever.
yeah, you know what he does. This is perfect too for this year. You know, with the COVID, once you get the vaccine, you know that's going to be the perfect little meme for Illini Nation to have that closer killer mentality for Ayo Dosunmu. But I love that from him, that he's able to come out and just back it up too. We haven't seen that a lot from Illinois athletics really as a whole, Marlee. When you think of the two main sports in football and basketball have not been good overall the last decade up until last year. You got to go back to 2013, the previous time Illinois basketball made the NCAA tournament. Illinois has only been to 2 bowl games in that time. And I love that. Get some swagger, like expect to be good and then go out and back it up. And that's the talent that Bret Underwood has finally been building. But I also felt like, Marlee, that they knew that this was a big-time game. And it doesn't take a lot to get up for a top 10 matchup like Duke. But to come out and show that we were ready as a team for this game really showed me the maturation that this team is taking and where it's come from Bret Underwood's first season where they really struggle. The second season don't get much better, incremental progress. And then last year they make that breakthrough. But to have a guy like Ayo and come out and show that, hey, the moment wasn't too big for him or this team, I thought really went a long way.
Right, and the moment wasn't too big.
Lose this, if we win and lost the last game, I think we still knew that we belonged with the elite of the elite, but it definitely was found to see, it was put up or shut up. It was one of those games because, a lot of talk was with us in the preseason and, this, that, and, we come out, had 2 great opportunities to play 2 really good teams. So we accepted the challenge. We came and we played well. And now we have a very hungry Missouri team who's been playing great. We owe them one definitely, and it's going to be just get ready for Saturday.
Marlee, go now.
You cut me off a little bit there.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It was just going off of, the moment definitely wasn't too big for them. In fact, I think they just handled the spotlight very well. And like I said, they have Missouri coming up, the bragging rights game. I know that one just holds a lot of weight, and they have a lot of beef with that team. So it'll be exciting to just see that one, because I feel like this one just didn't have like the fire and the emotion that I was expecting, but I think we'll probably be getting that from the bragging rights game this weekend.
And I think part of that was just the shooting, right? I mean, they held them to very poor shooting, 22% from beyond the arc from Duke in this one. And when you look at the first half percentages as well, it was not good. 37% for Duke. They picked it up a little bit in the second half, shooting 42%, but 0 for 7 in the first half from Duke from beyond the arc. And man, it's just tough to get out of holes like that. And you got to give a lot of credit to Illinois, who really dominated in fast break points as well, 24-8. Bench points were pretty even. Points off turnovers went to Duke, and points in the paint, Illinois was +6 in that one. But overall, the fact that Illinois never trailed in this game was really, really impressive to me on the road. And it's the first top 10 matchup for Illinois in a road game to win since 1989. The Flying Illini did it twice that year, and Illinois goes out and picks up a road win on a top 10 game those are hard to come by. Overall, statistically, those do not happen very often for a program, especially like Illinois. So a big-time win. They are on the flight back right now, probably a couple-hour flight from Durham, and Illinois, like you mentioned, Marlee, going to get set to go to Columbia, Missouri. Remember, the coin flip is why they're not playing at home, and this game not going to be in St. Louis. Still no fans, but I think because of that rivalry on Saturday night at 7, you're going to feel a little bit more energy in the building there. Would you think the same?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Like I mentioned before, I feel like this game was just lacking a little bit of that emotion. So I think I'll be excited to see how they do against Missouri, because I mean, this was without a doubt a great win for Illinois, but I would have liked to see how maybe they would have responded to a little bit of adversity. I mean, like Duke didn't look like they wanted to compete.
Yeah.
Okay? Illinois mopped the floor with them. Great, good for them. But let's see how they do against a team that actually looks like they want to be there.
This was Duke coach Mike Krzyzewski talking about Illinois. He says, quote, "We just got beat by a team that is better than we are. They're older, more mature. They impose their will on us. We're not as good as they are. We're not there yet. they're just as good a team they were last year, and they are right now. It's pretty strong words from a Hall of Fame coach who's won more than 1,000 games, 5 NCAA tournament titles, and has been to 24 straight NCAA tournaments, talking about the Illinois basketball team, who will come into Saturday's game at Missouri 4-1, and the only loss to a Baylor team who certainly is a national title contender. And I think we can only hope that maybe we'll get to see a rematch between Illinois and Baylor at some point down the road. All right, Marlee, any final thoughts?
No, I think that's it for me. It's after hours, past my bedtime, so it's about to go to sleep soon.
Almost 1 o'clock, but we're happy to bring you the 3-1 podcast after hours, after dark. It's been fun on a great night for Illini Nation. We'll have much more coming up on the WCIA 3 News in the coming days as we wrap this one up, put it to bed, and get ready for the Bragging Rights game Saturday night at 7. Thanks so much for watching and for listening. We'll do it again soon. We'll talk to you again soon after the Missouri game on Saturday night.